Hi, this is Tracy from GiftBasketappeal, and today we're going to be making some really pretty embellishments. So let's get started. The paper I'm going to be using is some scrap paper that I have left over, and I figured I'd use some of the pieces that I had, and it actually comes from this signature paper by Colorbach, and it's called Garden Variety. This is such a gorgeous pack of paper. I'm going to be using this shape, and this is just a cereal box that I cut out some of these shapes, and it just makes it a whole lot easier to use what you already have. Now, the way I got this particular shape is to use this is the top from a coffee container, and I like the way it was shaped, so I said, you know what, that would look nice as some type of embellishment for a card or maybe a journal, maybe a junk journal. I think it would be really pretty. So I decided that I would challenge myself to make something. I also have all of these sentiments that I had already stamped out, and I'm going to use this one called, it says, I Believe in You. And so I'll be using that also. And this is actually from one of May's stamp sets. And then I just pulled out some other things that I thought I would decorate with. I have some pens also. Got some sequins and things. Got some flowers. So we'll see what we could pull together with this. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and cover our shape. And so I'm just going to put some crafter's tape on here. Make sure that's covered real good. Okay, and since I want this side to be the side I'm going to be using, I'm going to just turn this over. And look how pretty that side is too. Choices, choices. So I'm going to just go ahead and I'm just going to adhere it to this. And then I cut. It's just easier for me to just cut around the shape. So I'm just going to cut this out. Okay, so you want to get as close to that as possible. And see how, look how pretty that is. Look how all the colors just stand out on there. Really pretty. And then we're going to just do the other side. Okay. And so all those cereal boxes that you have, oatmeal boxes, anything with kind of that sturdy cardboard, kind of that thin layer cardboard, you can save those and use them to make gift tags and things like that. I really like making gift tags also. Okay, and so I'm going to just adhere it to here. Just press it on. And just cut it out. These would make really nice gift tags too. So you can punch a hole in the top and turn it into a gift tag. But you can decorate gift bags with this too. So much you can do with that. Okay, so it's nice and pressed out. I just want to make sure that I have all of the sides kind of just cut off. And so think of anything. A jar lid can be, you know, you can trace around it, cover it with some pretty paper that you like. And the thing I like about doing this type of craft is that I don't have to think about it. Don't think too much, just do it. And so I'm going to take this, this is just a permanent marker from Office Depot, and I want this to have an outline. I don't want that cardboard to be showing. So I'm just outlining it. And it gives it a nice little border too. Look how pretty that writing is on there. Okay, and so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just use my sentiment here. And I had stamped these out on a white piece of paper, on a white cardstock. And so I'm going to take my Memento ink. This is Pear Tart, and it comes from a pack of Dewdrop inks. And so the pack that I got this from is called Gumdrops. And I'm just going to use this Pear Tart. I like that kind of that greenish. It has a little bit of green in here, so you can kind of pull those colors out and use whatever you want. But I want this, to me it's too light when I put my sentiment on here. It's just going to be too bright. So I want to kind of tone it down a little bit. And so I'm just going to kind of just lightly brush. That's why I love these little inks, because I can just lightly brush them over to kind of add a little bit of color. And that way you don't have to really have colored paper. See, there's just another way to use what you have. Just like that. Okay, and then I'm going to outline this as well. I think it'll stand out better if I put a black outline on it. And if you hear some noise, that is Gooby, aka Cinnamon, my dog. He's in the craft room with me, just kind of chilling and looking out the window. And scratching. Okay, so we put a little border around it too. So I'm just trying to just go with the flow here. And so let's see what else we can do with this. I like the fact that I can just kind of put this here. And I do like these green flowers. I've had these in my stash for a really long time, and I think it's time to use them. Look how pretty those are. I think that'll bring out some of that green in there. And I have to decide whether I want to pop this up. And I think I will. So let's see. Yep, we are going to pop this up on here. This is going to be perfect. And remember, I'm not thinking about this too much. I'm going to put this kind of a little bit at an angle here. Maybe add something in here. This is Deco mesh, like pieces of Deco mesh that I had left over. So I'm going to take this mesh and cut it. And I'm going to add it somewhere on here. Let's see. Maybe I can use this to glue it on. See if that works. And I'm just using my art glitter glue. And the nice thing about this is that it will dry clear. I'm just slipping that right on there. See, I'm not thinking about this. Let's give that a little bit of time to dry. Kind of like that green on there. And let's see, I'll pop a flower somewhere on here as well. Oh, I think that's going to look pretty. I'm just going to pop that on with my hot glue gun. Just a little dot of glue there. And I'm not really worried about that white showing through right now. That's just the glue drying still. so I'm not really worried about that. But that looks really pretty with that little bit of mesh on there and the sparkly stuff. Just adds another dimension to it. Okay, so let's see what else I can do with this. I've got my glitter pens here, but I think this needs a border around it. And so this is a Signo pen, and it's white, and I love this. This is one of my favorite tools right now. And I'm just going to put a little bit of a light border around here. I love the stitching. I think that'll kind of add to it and make it stand out even more. Just that light against the dark. Very pretty. And see how it's coming together already? I am really loving that. Okay, so I still feel like it needs something else. So I'm going to take my pen and kind of just go around adding some little bunches of circles or little spirally things. This is where your doodling skills will come into effect. Okay. I'm just doing bunches of 3. Look how pretty that is. See, maybe over here. Really nice. And so this is what we have so far. And I think we need a little bit of sparkle on there. You could do a bunch of these. Let's see, I'm going to add some of these green sequins to it before I put the sparkle on there. Okay, and before you ask me what I'm using to pick these up, it's my quick stick tool from We Are Memory Keepers. It just has a little thing of putty right here that just kind of picks up your small embellishments or gems, and it's a really good tool to have. I know it's one of my favorites. Okay, so I'm going to just kind of randomly put a few of these around here. Maybe one over here, just to tie in some of that green. Over here. And see, I'm not stopping to think a whole lot about this. I'm just going with the colors that I like. And just adding to it. Look at that. See if you can really see that, how it sparkles. Okay, now I get to use my pen, which is another one of my newer crafting tools. This is a Jelly Roll pen. This is Stardust Jelly Roll pen. And I like this Stardust because it just adds just the right amount of shimmer without really taking away from the color. Kind of enhances your stuff. And you don't have to press down hard. It just flows really nice. So a lot of pens don't do that, but this one is really, really good. So I'm just adding some glittery stuff around my little sentiment here. And I think this would be pretty on a journal cover just to kind of enhance it with some real pretty background paper on it. I really wish you can see the way this glitter just goes right on. I'll put a little bit in the middle of my little squiggly things here. You can get everybody involved in this one. Should have my sister and my mom come over and just have them take whatever paper from my stash and just have us have a nice crafty evening. And look how pretty that looks. Very nice. See if you can see that, the way that those squiggly lines, I just added some glitter to it. And I think I'm going to go out around the outside with this. You can get really carried away with this pen. And you can add a whole lot to this if you want. It's just up to you and what you like. Okay. And I'm going to add one more thing. I've got my stickles here. And this is Stardust Stickles also. I'm getting addicted to these Stardust stuff. And I'm just going to go right around the outline of my sign here. And just add a few stickles in here. Just right along the edge here, just to bring it out. Give it a nice outline. And of course this you have to let it dry for a little bit. And all drying time depends on how much you use. So I'm just using a little bit. But it really adds to your stuff. So I still have to let this dry a little bit here. And look at that. And of course I did cover both sides. If you're going to use it as a gift tag, then you could do both sides. If not, you could just do the one side and attach it to whatever project you're going to do. But wouldn't this look lovely on a card? Let me show you some of the other ones I did. Here's another one that's similar to this one. And I just used the mesh down at the bottom there instead of all off to the side. So you can just do all kinds of different things. Put the flower up here. So just that little bit of moving stuff. And I did make some little squiggly things and have the outline on that. And let me show you another one. And this is Never Fear on this one. Let me just remember what stamp set that is. Oops, I'm knocking stuff over here. From May's collection. This is the Chin Up stamp set. So it's a very encouraging stamp set. And I just stamped a bunch of them out because I knew that at some point I would need something like these. So look how pretty this one is. Never Fear. And I used a different type of paper. I had some pieces of this paper right here. And all I did was I outlined it with my pen to give it just a little bit more detail. I used a white pen and I went in with more details inside of the flower petals just to make it more artsy. And then I used a larger flower, and then I had a couple of these small flowers in my stash. And then I added some sequins on there, and I outlined this one also. So there's just so much you can do. And here's another one. I really love this one too. I might add some more stuff to it, I'm not sure yet. But look how that yellow stands out. You've got this, and then I put some gems in there, some pink gems. Gave it an outline. And I used one type of paper. I actually used this paper as my base. And then I cut out some flowers from another piece of decorative paper. And then I just adhered it over that. So these can become really detail oriented. And then I cut out a butterfly. And I just put the butterfly on here also, and I highlighted the butterfly by putting using my pen, once again my little sparkly stardust pen, and I just went in on my butterfly and I outlined the butterfly with a thin black pen. This is a micron pen, and I just went on the outside of the butterfly and highlighted it, and then I took my white pen, the Signal pen, and I just went on the outside of the flowers just to give it some detail, and then the stitching around the edges. So you can do so much with these, so much fun. All of those jar lids that you have at home, any circular item you can use. There's just so much you can do. I was looking at this the other day, the jar that I keep my pearls in, and I was saying, you know what, I can trace this and make this into some type of embellishments. So you have the stuff at home where you don't need to have like one of those punches, you know, like the circle punches and all the different shape punches. You can use whatever you have and just take the time to cut it out. So I'm really loving this one. And the last one, I did another one that says never fear. I cut out a butterfly and mounted it on here just to kind of give it some dimension. And look how pretty that is. Put some sequins on there, or gems, or whatever you have in your stash, and just get your hot glue gun and start gluing some stuff on. So look how pretty that is. And then I took my pen and I highlighted the flowers. And then I took my little thin black pen and outlined the flowers on here just so that they look almost like they're drawn on. So you can think about when you use your paper, just because it looks that way, your decorative paper, doesn't mean you can't enhance it by adding little sparkly things to it. So I hope this inspired you. I'm really excited about this. This is such a fun project. It's one of those projects where you don't have to think about it. You just have fun. There are no mistakes in crafting, and if there are mistakes, you can always cover it up with something, okay? Pop a flower on it or something. So thank you so much for joining me. If you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Give this video a thumbs up, and as usual, leave those comments below because your comments inspire me and they motivate me. So I appreciate all of you and have a great day. Bye.